The City Aquarium is buzzing, absolutely packed with people here for the underwater show. One little girl is practically vibrating, showing off her own glittering mermaid tail. Turns out, she's performing today too. Her pink-haired friend gives Ye Ming a nudge, reminding him it's almost their showtime. But Ye Ming's tail is something else, a shimmering blue fin that looks impossibly real. Under the water, those scales look way too perfect to be just a costume. They have this ethereal glow you just can't fake. It's his little secret, something he calls the grace of Poseidon. Yeah, it's a divine perk of his race. He plays it off as a professional secret, but let's be real, Ye Ming's an actual mermaid. The announcement echoes through the hall. Showtime. Eager spectators rush towards the glass, ready for the mermaid performance to begin. Ye Ming and his friends swim out to greet them. His cheeks already ache from the constant smiling, but he still warmly engages with the excited kids in the audience. And then he sees him, a handsome stranger in the crowd, and just like that, Ye Ming completely forgets his bubble heart routine. Ye Ming is totally captivated. This guy is 100% his type. Seeing the human sketching something, he feels this intense need to get to know him. He starts swimming a bit more playfully, desperately trying to get the focused artist's attention. But then a sudden rhythmic banging starts. Some little troublemaker is hitting the glass. Ye Ming crosses his arms, shooting the kid a stern look that clearly says, "Hey, stop that." The brat just makes a mocking face back, completely unimpressed. Oh, the nerve! Ye Ming can feel his rage starting to simmer. Just as he's wishing someone would intervene, the handsome stranger steps in, warning the kid about the terrifying legends of angry mermaids. The child actually falters, looking scared despite claiming the performers are fakes. That's when Luo Chuan points right at the tank. He highlights Ye Ming's intense, almost predatory glare. From this close, Ye Ming is even more smitten by the human's sharp features and his kindness. And just like that, Luo Chuan has the whole situation calmed down, much to our mermaid's relief. A cheerful smile and an okay sign from Luo Chuan leave Ye Ming totally impressed. His heart flutters. Okay, this guy is as kind as he is beautiful. As the show winds down, the human gives a friendly wave toward the tank. Ye Ming completely freezes in surprise. Is he waving at him? The artist then offers a warm, radiant smile that leaves our mermaid completely starstruck. Ye Ming can't tear his eyes away from the charming human. And that's when the guy presses a sketchbook against the glass. He's revealing a surprise. It's a masterful sketch of Ye Ming, perfectly captured among the swirling bubbles. Overwhelmed and totally speechless, Ye Ming has no idea how to respond. And then the human just walks away. He leaves the mermaid completely stunned, scrambling for what to do next. His coworker points out he's still lingering in the tank long after the show ended. He gives one last graceful dive, leaving behind a massive, shimmering heart made of bubbles. The crowd, including the artist and that bratty kid, watches in total awe. Ye Ming is absolutely beaming, feeling a joy he hasn't felt in ages. But as he breaks the surface backstage, there's a sudden gasp. Catching his breath, he joyfully announces to his shocked friends that he's found someone special. Outside, a heavy downpour starts. Ye Ming finds himself stranded at the aquarium entrance, cursing the inaccurate weather forecast. He is completely unprepared for the rain. But looking over, he sees the handsome artist is also waiting out the storm. Luo Chuan approaches, causing our boy to blush and panic. Internally, the human recognizes him as the mermaid from the show. Luo Chuan asks if he wants to head to the curb with him to try and hail a cab. A nervous, flustered mess, Ye Ming admits he also forgot to bring an umbrella. So smooth. But secretly, the mermaid loves the rain and this chance to be near him. The downpour intensifies, making their predicament feel even more intimate. Deciding to make a run for it, Ye Ming pulls out a small sheet to use as a makeshift cover. Huddled together under the little blue sheet, Luo Chuan and Ye Ming finally introduce themselves. The sudden closeness has Ye Ming blushing intensely. Taking full advantage of the moment, the mermaid boy smiles softly and leans in a little, dreaming of a romance straight out of a comic book. Ye Ming checks for a taxi, but finds none. Seeing that he's stranded, Luo Chuan kindly invites him to take shelter at his home nearby. After they arrive at the apartment, the artist offers him some dry clothes and a place to rest. Luo Chuan gives him a bright, welcoming smile that leaves Ye Ming breathless. But then, shock fills the room as Luo Chuan spots the giant bathtub in the living area. Full-on panic mode. Ye Ming knows humans find this weird and scrambles for an explanation. Screaming on the inside, our mermaid boy desperately tries to invent a logical reason for his home decor. He quickly throws a pillow into the tub. He pretends it's just a unique piece of furniture. Claiming the bathtub helps him stay in character for his mermaid job. A heavy silence fills the apartment as Ye Ming worries his excuse just made him seem even more bizarre. The artist leans against the basin, observing the setup while Ye Ming trembles with nerves. To his relief, Luo Chuan actually looks more interested than weirded out. Easing the tension, the artist admits he was confused at first, but just laughs it off, causing the boy to blush all over again. Luo Chuan gently tells him to just be himself and ignore what anyone else thinks. Touched, Ye Ming feels a deep sense of kindness radiating from him. Memories of the show come flooding back, of how the artist was completely captivated by the mermaid's fluid grace underwater. That mermaid boy's performance? So fluid, it completely defied the laws of human motion. The artist was lost in his work, but the mermaid boy found himself completely captivated. Afterwards, Luo Chuan said goodbye, needing to take care of some things on his own. Later, back in the living room, the artist offered up his private sketchbook. Naturally, our curious merman eagerly took the book to have a look. It was like seeing the world through Li Shan's eyes. He stared at the aquatic drawings, totally mesmerized by the artist's amazing skill. While complimenting the art, he lets it slip, calling people humans, which definitely catches the artist's attention. He admired his own portrait in the book, wondering if the artist thought he was handsome. So Lu Shan then asks him what he thinks. He was hoping he captured the kid's charm. But then a huge growl from the boy's stomach completely shatters the romantic mood. Hunger calls! The artist just laughs and offers to order food as thanks for hanging out. And this human food? The mermaid boy absolutely loves it. He absolutely demolished every last bite, leaving a spotless bowl and earning a teasing compliment from Lu Shan. Totally embarrassed, he insists he doesn't normally eat so much. The rain gets worse, so Ye Ming offers a bed, making the artist question his trust. Lu Shan starts teasing him, warning him about dangerous people out there, which makes the boy puff out his chest. He proudly declares he'd throw any bad guys straight into the ocean. The artist just pats his head, laughing it off as a cute little joke. But he's determined to prove his merman power, insisting on a little demonstration. He takes the artist's hand, promising he'll be gentle. Then a loud crack echoes as the merman uses way too much force. The artist doubles over, pretty sure his hand is actually broken. Completely satisfied with his strength display, the happy merman just strolls off to the bedroom. Finally alone, he hops back into the tub, absolutely ecstatic his crush is staying over. His mind races with thoughts of dating and getting closer. But this just leaves our mermaid boy totally flustered. He thinks about how complicated human dating is, feeling completely clueless on what to do. Later that night, Lu Shan checks his phone, thinking about his own mermaid art. Then a huge splash from the living room gets his attention. He goes to check it out and his breath catches. There, right in front of him, is a real shimmering mermaid tail. He bolts to the bathroom, splashing his face with water, trying to wake up. Looking in the mirror, he struggles with the shock of discovering this massive secret. Logic says he should report a mythical creature, but the merman seems so harmless and sweet. And yeah, Lu Shan admits he's also pretty cute. He remembers the boy works at the aquarium and something bothers him. He just can't figure out why he'd want to live in human society. But then he remembers that threat from earlier and realizes this merman is actually dangerous. In a funny daydream, Ye Ming asks to cook a meal. The mermaid boy frets that his unique cooking style won't suit humans, and Lushuan watches in pure horror as he just boils an entire uncleaned fish. They both just sigh, staring at the gross, scaly meal. After they eat some real food, a very satisfied burp echoes through the room. Lushuan gets ready to leave, saying they'll just leave their next meeting up to fate. The blue-haired boy agrees with pure romantic excitement. Meanwhile, Ye Ming is already picturing future dates and cute matching outfits with his crush. The two of them continue walking down the sidewalk. Lushuan keeps a polite distance, then stops dead. He realizes the mermaid boy is still right behind him. A little panic sets in for the artist as he wonders why he's being followed. Ye Ming just stops, looking completely confused. Confused about why Lushuan stopped. The blue-haired boy reveals he's actually a student at the local music academy. Lushuan is completely shocked. He processes the fact that even mermaids apparently have to go to school. The scene then changes. The train pulls into the station and Ye Ming hops on board. Totally thrilled by this fated coincidence, their schools are so close. Lushuan, however, is getting suspicious of the boy's constant efforts to get near him. Ye Ming is busy trying to plan their very next date. As the boy thinks, Lushuan observes his odd behavior, a bit confused. Then, out of nowhere, Lushuan says he really loves the sea. This definitely gets the merman's attention, and he panics at his own reaction. Ye Ming quickly says he just meant the ocean's pretty. Lushuan praises his talent, saying the conservatory is hard to get into. He finds the boy's pure, open emotions to be a refreshing change. Compared to most people he knows, Lushuan worries that someone so innocent could be easily taken advantage of in the human world. Suddenly, a loud shout cuts through their talk. A girl is confronting some guy on the train. The guy just brushes her off, saying the crowded train makes it okay to touch her. Angry and embarrassed, she calls him out for touching her as the boys look on. Lushuan steps in, loudly calling the guy out for his actions. He calls the man a creep and says he can explain himself to the cops. Other passengers join the confrontation. They let him know the cops have already been called. The man shoves at Lushuan, telling him to move, but our artist stands his ground. Ye Ming's face goes ice cold, his eyes turning predatory as he glares at the creep. The man shoves Lushuan aside, but a hand shoots out, stopping his escape dead. Ye Ming grabs the guy by the hair, his eyes glowing with a dangerous light. Using his insane strength, the merman boy slams the man's face right into the subway floor. The harasser screams. The man's in pain as the Ming pins him down with terrifying ease. Lushuan has to tell him, "Hey, don't break his arm." During the scuffle, the mermaid boy glances up. His glowing blue eyes give a flash of his true wild side. Lushuan tells the Ming to take it easy and not be so impulsive while making the arrest. The guy on the ground sighs, muttering about meeting a complete madman. Just then, a black-haired classmate approaches and asks the Ming to walk to the auditorium with him. The Ming introduces his friend Aji to Lushuan, and then the two groups part ways. Aji is immediately suspicious, questioning the blue-haired boy about this new handsome guy. He warns the mermaid to be cautious with humans, but the Ming is totally love-struck. Taking that advice to heart, the Ming decides to focus on pursuing only Lushuan. Then comes a sharp TSK ... Aji is totally annoyed, scolding him for ignoring the warning about humans. Lushuan watches them go, thinking their relationship seems a bit deeper than just friends. Later at the academy, a friend repeatedly calls Lushuan's name, breaking his focus. Meanwhile, Aji questions the Ming's whereabouts after he didn't return home. When their work is done, Aji gets ready to go, but the Ming stays. In fact, he's blushing while looking at some rehearsal photos, his thoughts drifting back toward his crush. As he walks through the academy, he recalls being called. Lushuan had called him an interesting little mermaid. As the Ming relaxes, the sweet melody of a violin fills the air. And with that, the rehearsal wraps up, and the conductor grants the student orchestra a well-earned break from their practice. Meanwhile, the Ming, considers if he should invite Lu Chuan to his performance next week, blushing furiously. And then the chibi. Mermaid boy daydreams of another destined meeting with the handsome artist. But Ji pops up, catching the Ming writing a secret message. Ji brutally criticizes the performance, saying Lu Chuan won't hear the quiet harp. The harsh critique leaves the chibi mermaid boy, leaving him totally heartbroken and filled with self-doubt. Suddenly, a clear voice promises, "I'll be there." And just like that, there's a glimmer of hope. Lu Chuan shows up, defending the Ming's invitation from Aji's cynical little interruption. With a warm smile, the peach-haired artist invites the blushing boy out for some air. Aji watches them, deeply suspicious, wondering why the Ming trusts this good-looking stranger. The three of them stand on the auditorium stage as the rehearsal officially ends. The Ming leaves with Lu Chuan, leaving a grumbling Aji behind him on the stage. And old memories begin to resurface. We see the mermaid boy getting ready for his journey to the shore. In a flashback, a young Lu Chuan drops his pocket watch overboard by mistake. The artist just laughs, not knowing he's being watched from the depths. A companion says many expensive jewels have been lost to the sea. Lately, still, chibi Lu Chuan stays totally unbothered, not caring about his streak of clumsy, costly accidents. He declares confidently that he'll one day recover everything he lost to the sea. Below the waves, the mermaid has collected every single treasure that Lu Chuan accidentally lost. Determined to find this man, the Ming prepares to go ashore with his whole collection. Heading to the surface, the mermaid boy swims through the night, draped in shiny human jewelry. Then disaster strikes. He gets caught in a net thrown by some greedy human smugglers. Totally trapped, the poor mermaid boy just stares sadly through the heavy ropes. The smugglers celebrate their rare prize, planning to auction him for a huge fortune. But a sudden crash interrupts their plans. When a barrel soars right toward the startled men, Lu Chuan appears by the water, looking worriedly at the captured mermaid boy. His eyes wide with shock, the trapped chibi mermaid recognizes the man from the boat. Lu Chuan signals for him to be quiet. He carefully moves in to rescue the captured sea creature. Working fast, he frees the mermaid, telling him to escape into the sea. Shouts of alarm go up as the smugglers see someone stealing their prize. Using his surprising power, the chibi mermaid helps tear the heavy net apart from the inside. But instead of fleeing, the small mermaid asks the man to take him. Lu Chuan smiles wide, lifting the mermaid and making a heroic escape. They get to Lu Chuan's ship, where his crew waits for their boss. The smugglers realize with horror that the rescuer is a bold pirate captain. Later, the Ming asks how Lu Chuan knew. He was the one gathering the lost items. Looking at his last remaining necklace, the mermaid boy remembers the chaotic escape. He dutifully carries his treasure bag, eager to be by his savior's side. A sweet vision shows the two of them snuggled close, safe inside the pirate ship's cabin. Lu Chuan playfully teases the spoiled mermaid, while the Ming dreams about more tasty fish. Back to the present, the Ming worries he lost his chance to perform for him. Aji gets dragged away by his friend, ending their 10th argument on the stage. Aji finally gives in, offering a rare apology and explaining his protective nature. Shocked by this out-of-character kindness, Ming makes him say the apology again. The mermaid boy is absolutely delighted by the gesture, much to Aji's grumpy and flustered reaction. He then dismisses having to watch the Ming's social life, saying he's too busy. The camera then reveals a silver necklace, resting on Aji's white shirt under his open jacket. Then Aji bluntly calls the mermaid boy stupid, as the Ming listens silently. Overwhelmed by the insult, the tearful chibi mermaid looks completely dejected. Aji warns the Ming about the truly dire consequences if his mermaid identity ever gets discovered. Lu Chuan watches the two, relieved that the tension between them has finally disappeared. To celebrate, our artist offers a bag of snacks to his friends, and the Ming? He's absolutely glowing, clutching his new pink bag of goodies. The little merman happily licks his lips, so ready to dig in. But Luo Chuan and Aji? They're suddenly suspicious because they recognize that familiar packaging. Aji's whole expression hardens as he demands to see what the Ming's eating. And there it is, the truth. The Ming has been eating cat treats. Lu Chuan starts to panic. He frantically digs through shopping bags to get some actual human food. Has the boy ever even had dried fish meant for people? To cheer him up, Luo Chuan suggests playing with some small animals. He holds out a little treat trying to lure a nearby cat, but the Ming is the only one who's interested. The cat completely snubs the snack, leaving our artist looking so disappointed. So the Ming just eats the treat himself as Luo Chuan stares in disbelief. The boy knows it's pet food, but hey, it tastes totally fine. His logic? He's not really human anyway, so what's the big deal? Then he clings to Luo Chuan's waist, making the artist wonder if this is a bit too affectionate. The boy then gazes up with wide, innocent eyes, taking the artist totally by surprise. A deep blush spreads across his face, but he's secretly enjoying the sweet nuzzle. Then we're in a convenience store surrounded by blossoms and snacks. Our little artist is hoarding dried fish, totally determined to feed the Ming properly. Meanwhile, the Ming pictures himself as a poor, pitiful creature. Forced to eat scraps right alongside a street cat. Later in the auditorium, Luo Chuan waits to give the Ming the snacks. After rehearsal, the Ming vents to Luo Chuan about Aji's incredibly harsh and toxic words. He sadly admits his performance on stage was probably ... pretty difficult for anyone to notice. Tears well up as the little merman remembers how lonely he felt during his invitation. He dramatically wishes for a solo act to really capture the handsome artist's attention. A shot reveals Luo Chuan's relaxed posture, as he just takes in all the boys' complaints. While waiting, a couple of girls approach Luo Chuan, asking about the harpist. Turns out, they want to recruit the Ming for their drama club. But even though he's refused, the girls explain. That the mermaid boy is being super stubborn about joining. Luo Chuan just tells them to give it another shot later. His words give them a little spark of hope. Meanwhile, a determined the Ming hides behind his harp, cooking up a plan. After the girls practically beg him for help, the Ming finally caves and agrees to join. His classmates are totally stunned by the mermaid boy's set-in. And sparkling cooperation. He's decided this is his chance to show off for Luo Chuan. That's when another helpful student offers to go over the script with our quiet blue-haired boy. But after the super long rehearsal, the Ming tells Luo Chuan he just wants to go home. So the two of them walk down the academy stairs together, side by side. A bit later, we find a totally relaxed chibi. The Ming just scrolling through his phone while soaking in a nice warm bath. Back in the stairwell, he makes Luo Chuan promise to watch his performance. His gaze is intense, dead serious. He needs this promise from the guy he likes. And Luo Chuan? He just offers a warm, gentle smile. He's clearly charmed by the little merman's earnest request. In that full shopping bag, it says everything about his growing affection for his friend. The Ming is so touched by the snacks, calling the artist overwhelmingly kind. In response, Luo Chuan just gives him an affectionate head pat. And just like that, they're both blushing. As Luo Chuan's hand rests on his head, the Ming's face turns red, totally moved by this simple gesture. He gazes up, his eyes wide and practically sparkling. The little guy feels dizzy with happiness, vowing to try his very best. Luo Chuan pulls his hand back, and the boy quietly thanks him. The peach-haired artist seems taken aback. But then his expression softens while he just stares. He can't help but wonder, why did he even pat the kid's head? The Ming's heart is hammering in his chest. He feels like he's short-circuiting. Then Luo Chuan hits him with a radiant, sparkling smile that just melts his brain. Luo Chuan's praise is just too much. Little the Ming gets all dizzy and blushy, immediately hiding his face. He's totally flustered by the artist's kind words when a classmate pops up, asking where Luo Chuan went. Still blushing, the Ming stammers that his friend already went home. then immediately tries to change the subject. By bringing up their drama performance. He soon learns the play is about a siren king and a magical harp. The brown-haired girl then... rolls out a whole rack of costumes for the show. But our little merman inspects them with a very critical eye. And yeah, let's just say he's not impressed at all. In his opinion, they're basically just rags. Later, while relaxing in the tub, he texts Luo Chuan to complain about the terrible outfits. At home, Luo Chuan's friend casually asks what he thinks about mermaids. His buddy warns him that mermaids are actually terrifying monsters who lure and devour men. He then asks Luo Chuan if he's really so sure those are just stories. Later that night, lying in bed, the artist starts to wonder if the Ming is even real. Back in the tub, the Ming is reading the script about a vengeful siren. Then he gets to the part about sirens eating people and he's absolutely horrified. He is personally offended, rejecting this totally ancient and barbaric view of his people. At that moment, Luo Chuan arrives at his door with his dog, Chucky. He was really hoping to catch the Ming. Our artist looks thoughtful as he waits outside, pulling out his phone to check it. He stares at his phone while his dog sits patiently. Suddenly, woof, woof, Chucky lets out a big bark, and Luo Chuan quickly tries to shush him. A tiny Luo Chuan pats Chucky, trying to shush the dog. Meanwhile, our mermaid boy is spaced out, cuddling a pillow. Then Ye Ming picks up an unexpected call from Luo Chuan. Still chilling in the bathtub, a tiny Luo Chuan says he's just outside grabbing something he forgot. In a panic, Chibi Ye Ming slams end call with a quick goodbye. Staring at his phone, Luo Chuan is just completely baffled. The artist wonders if he's still half asleep or just avoiding him. Then realization sinks and Luo Chuan is at the door. Ye Ming leaps to his feet in a total panic. The mermaid boy is frozen solid, clutching his phone tight as reality hits hard. A loud scream rings out when Ye Ming notices the call with Luo Chuan disconnected. Luo Chuan turns, ignoring Ye Ming's desperate cries to wait. A sudden sound startles the peach-haired man, who turns back. Luo Chuan reaches for the handle as Chibi Ye Ming watches, panicked. A close-up shows his focused gaze. Just as he's about to enter, Ye Ming awkwardly suggests he wait so he can get dressed. The tiny mermaid boy is dying from embarrassment, his whole face flushing bright red. Chucky, the dog, sniffs all around the room, totally oblivious. Curious about who's hiding, tiny Luo Chuan commands his dog to back up and give them some space. Tucked behind a stool, the teary little mermaid feels completely exposed and humiliated. Luo Chuan stands over him, asking if he'll be late for his rehearsal. Feeling completely defeated, the tiny mermaid buries his head in quiet dejection. Crouching down, the peach-haired artist asks if he plans to stay like that. The tiny mermaid boy shouts a defiant rejection to the artist's kind offer. He's just too ashamed to look. Luo Chuan kindly comforts him, urging Ye Ming to get ready while promising that he'll fix the broken lock. Tiny Luo Chuan leads Chucky away, saying he must get the dog home first. Surrounded by flower blossoms, the joyful little mermaid boy waves a sparkly farewell. Ye Ming watches the locksmith work, wondering if the artist has a car. A calm transition reveals the artist's bike is also in perfect condition. The two then enjoy a peaceful, metaphorical ride through a field of lavender. Then Luo Chuan surprises Ye Ming, presenting him with a cute panda motorcycle helmet. A close-up captures Ye Ming's incredibly soft and affectionate stare as he looks at the artist. Luo Chuan stands ready by a powerful black motorcycle, waiting for him. Blushing hard, Ye Ming clutches the panda helmet, totally admiring that awesome-looking motorcycle. A tiny Ye Ming is totally starstruck by the amazing sight of the artist on his bike. Luo Chuan tells the dazed boy to quit staring and get on. Behind the dark visor of his helmet, the artist looks just unbelievably cool to Ye Ming. The tiny boy puts on his panda helmet and hurries over. He fumbles to adjust his helmet, and the artist just waits patiently. Climbing up onto the high seat, the little boy feels intimidated by how tall it is. Confusion suddenly strikes the tiny mermaid. As he wonders what he is supposed to hold, A sudden powerful roar from the engine startles the panicked, wide-eyed boy. Ye Ming lets out a scream as the motorcycle speeds down the road. Totally dazed and dizzy, the tiny boy's eyes swirl as the entire world blurs by. Ye Ming desperately pleads for the artist to slow down during their insane high-speed journey. Arriving at their destination, Luchuan helps the trembling boy get off the motorcycle. Ye Ming leans his head on the artist's back, completely exhausted from the intense ride. Tiny Luchuan hugs the helmeted boy, realizing the excitement was maybe a little too intense. Tearfully, the tiny mermaid boy whines that he's stuck up there and can't get down. Apologizing for going so fast, Luchuan gently lifts him off. Wobbly and still dazed, the tiny boy walks off, his blue tail trailing behind. Chibi Luchuan just watches him go. Thinking back on the boy's dramatic reaction to the speed, the tiny artist takes a moment for some quiet reflection after that wild ride. A hand holds a shimmering blue scale, a single, lingering clue to a hidden secret. Luchuan's eyes fill with dawning realization. Thinking about the boy's true identity, he remembers finding the tub filled with water, which deepens his growing suspicions about him. Staring at the blue scales, Luchuan confirms they're from his friend Ye Ming. The artist decides to play dumb for now, but he's totally unaware of the boy's mermaid secret. Later at school, Linya approaches Luchuan, asking about the mysterious passenger he had. Luchuan dismisses the question, insisting that his passenger was just a friend. Skeptical, the greenish-haired Linya points out that Luchuan literally never gives anyone rides. A tiny Luchuan bluntly tells his friend to get his own car. Overhearing them, the blushing tiny mermaid boy feels both a little shy and kind of worried. Ye Ming waves goodbye to them, promising to call when rehearsal begins. Luchuan gazes at his helmet, realizing he likes the boy, secrets and all. Overjoyed, the tiny mermaid boy hugs two small dolls in the dorm resembling the handsome artist. Lin, Ya, and a friend discuss how weird the artist has been acting lately. Linya reveals Luchuan didn't return to the dorm that one night. The green-haired man wonders about the mermaid legends the artist was recently investigating. Playing detective, the two friends decide Luchuan's recent secretive actions are extremely suspicious. They conclude there is a mysterious relationship going on with a secret mermaid princess. The gray-haired boy excitedly announces Luchuan has returned. So tiny Linya and his friend drag Luchuan away for an interrogation. Back in the room, his gray-haired buddy is all curiosity, practically buzzing with questions about this new friend. A tiny Luchuan admits he met someone new. Immediately, his friends ask the big question, are they pretty? Oh boy, they've got this all wrong. He just wanted to make a friend, that's it. The gray-haired guy suggests, hey, let's all hang out together then. You can see Luchuan thinking about how nosy his friends are. And Linya totally calls him out for being so secretive and possessive. About this mystery person, Luchuan finally caves, agreeing to bring him along when they have time. Linya warns his other friend not to hog all the fun. During every single game, the two of them just stare back, their faces blank but their suspicion hanging thick in the air. Linya suggests they grab dinner, and he demands to finally meet this supposed mermaid princess. A super anxious Luchuan just has to deal with their relentless teasing. Luchuan can't believe it. His friends are convinced he's gone and gotten himself a girlfriend. Suddenly, a sharp gasp. The name Mermaid Princess startles poor the Ming. Luchuan gives him a gentle pat on the head to calm him down, while trying to explain the massive misunderstanding. A blushing the Ming clings to a pillar for support, his heart pounding. They thought he was a girl. Following Luchuan up the stairs, the Ming's face burns bright red. He feels completely exposed, just overwhelmed by the embarrassment. Luchuan stops dead in the dark hallway. He senses a change in the air and turns back to check on the boy. He can see it on the boy's face pure joy just from the idea of meeting new people. At the table, Linya complains that Luchuan took forever. Huddled over a phone, the Ming and Luchuan are deciding on clams for dinner. Later, Luchuan asks the Ming if he likes eating jelly. Luo Chuan tries to offer him some more food, but the blue-haired boy politely refuses the extra serving. Lin Ya and his friend are still whispering about the mermaid princess who never showed. Finally, Luo Chuan introduces the blue-haired The Ming to his waiting friends. And ... record scratch, they're frozen solid. The mermaid princess they were expecting is a boy. During a game, a tiny The Ming apologizes for messing up their strategy. The group sits down for dinner, their losing streak continuing, but they're not giving up. A determined The Ming and Luo Chuan get ready for the next round. Totally fired up. Luo Chuan thinks about how easily The Ming just fits in with everyone. Lin Ye points out the mountain of sauce on The Ming's shrimp, warning him. The Ming pops the shrimp into his mouth, right as Luo Chuan realizes that's not sauce, it's mustard. A little groan of pain follows as the spice hits him, hard. Instantly, Luo Chuan and Lin Ye scramble to get him a drink and some fruit. Tears well up in The Ming's big, shimmering blue eyes from the spice. Luo Chuan just watches him recover, his gaze soft, a mix of concern and, yeah, a little bit of amusement. The Ming eats some fruit while Luo Chuan rests his chin on the table. His friends watch the two of them, noticing how they exist in this strange little world of their own as the night ends. The Ming waves a friendly goodbye as the group heads out. Then a gentle tap-tap. It's Luo Chuan's hand patting the boy's shoulder. Luo Chuan mentions he's a bit worried since their destination is so remote and dark. But the Ming just hugs his panda helmet, promising a surprise. Luo Chuan has no idea what this kid is planning, looking at all his cute little expressions. He seriously starts to question his own judgment. I mean, he's following a creature that isn't even human out into the dead of night. Standing on the dark, quiet beach, Luo Chuan wonders what's next. The two of them stand together right at the ocean's edge. Luo Chuan asks him, "So, what's the plan now?" His dark shoes are right next to the Ming's blue ones. As they get closer, the Ming wades right into the glowing water. He points excitedly at the rare, shimmering, bioluminescent waves. Luo Chuan is just stunned by the absolutely beautiful sight. Meanwhile, a proud little The Ming imagines himself as a graceful mermaid princess. Luo Chuan's gaze softens as he looks at the blushing boy beside him. The atmosphere? It's perfect. Our dark-haired artist thinks, maybe this is the moment to confess. But the Ming is panicking internally. A confession now would be way too sudden. A quick flashback shows a blonde kid in a sailor uniform yelling a warning. Then, in a classic romantic trope, the blonde boy trips into an accidental kiss. Sparkles literally fly around Chibi the Ming as he daydreams about his own perfect. Romantic moment just like that. But looking around the flat beach ... there's nowhere to trip and fall. A sudden splash sounds as the Ming just decides to sit down in the water. Now sitting in the glowing waves, the Ming thinks about faking a fall for extra drama. Luo Chuan looks totally confused when the Ming asks him what he's thinking. Overwhelmed by his own ridiculous plans, Chibi the Ming curls into an embarrassed little ball. Elsewhere, a festive dinner table is being set. It's complete with a strawberry cake and a wrapped present. A smiling The Ming, wearing cute animal ears, looks absolutely full of pure, childish happiness. Luo Chuan is searching a room that has a bathtub, calling out his friend's name. Where did he go? Now searching the deck of a ship, the artist still can't find him. He asks his friends for help, but none of them have seen the Ming either. A loud clap of thunder echoes. A dazed-looking The Ming is sitting alone after some kind of shock. The friends joke he might have gone for a winter swim. But Luo Chuan just grips his single blue scale tightly. He knows the winter sea is way too cold for that. He tells his friends to go on to the festival, deciding to wait on the boat alone. His worried friends can only stare as he stays behind. The Ming shivers in the cold, struggling to walk. The boots hurt, and his new human legs feel incredibly painful. The poor chibi mermaid boy misses his comfortable tail. The Ming stares up at the steep staircase, exhausted by the intimidating climb. His friends are grumbling, totally indignant that the fish just ran off without a goodbye. But Chibi the Ming shouts that fish have really long legs. Sitting on the steps, he says he only left to buy a gift, glancing at his heavy boots. The Ming complains about how tough his new legs are. The chibi mermaid boy huddles down, dejected after his incredibly difficult journey. His gray-haired friend offers a piggyback, ready to carry the Ming to Luo Xuan right through the night. The gray-haired friend carries the Ming through the festival crowds. The group loves the lively vibe, moving through the busy, decorated streets. Little hearts float around as the gray-haired friend carries the happy chibi boy through town. Finally back, the group announces they've brought a present for the boss. His gray-haired friend pulls the Ming closer, urging him to look at Luo Xuan. Luo Xuan is absolutely beaming as the Ming returns with a special festive gift. The Ming snacks happily, so glad they're finally back together. Then, Chibi the Ming reveals a massive, bow-tied root as his special gift. Luo Xuan's face just falls, realizing all that worry was for a root. Insisting it's valuable, Chibi the Ming says he must eat the gift. Luo Xuan stalls, holding his fork in pure despair. Luo Xuan hugs the Ming from behind, wanting to talk about his sudden disappearance. Blushing happily, the Ming repeats he bought the gift just for the artist. Playfully, Luo Xuan lifts the little chibi into the air, celebrating their happy reunion. A soft wince escapes as cold water touches his skin. Luo Xuan tenderly cups his face, checking if water got in his eyes. The Ming's face burns as Luo Xuan gently holds his cheek. Chibi the Ming celebrates with pure joy amidst falling snacks as Luo Xuan leans in. Chibi the Ming eagerly anticipates their first kiss. Deeply moved, he gazes up with wide, shimmering blue eyes, blushing deeply. Suddenly, a huge splash as the ocean explodes. Luo Xuan yells out a desperate, protective warning. Luo Xuan holds the boy tight against the crashing blue waves. Stunned by the massive cement block, they wonder who could throw it. Fuming with anger, Chibi the Ming vows to find their mysterious attacker. Wearing some adorable wolf ears, Chibi Luo Xuan stands with the Ming near the shore. Spotting a fleeing figure, they chase after them into the night. Determined to get payback, Chibi the Ming declares he has to catch the runner. Confused by the broken cement, Luo Xuan wonders how it's scientifically possible. Agent Chibi the Ming celebrates a small victory on the balcony, feeling cute. The black-haired boy watches Luo Xuan, asking about his fun trip. Then panic hits Chibi the Ming. He sees 11 missed calls on his phone. And then, a sudden heavy thud. The black-haired boy starts scolding the mermaid from the tub. Trying to make up, Chibi the Ming gives his angry friend a warm, sorry hug. Luo Xuan explains the attack while Chibi the Ming describes the huge cement block. The black-haired boy listens to the unbelievable story. Chibi the Ming happily recalls how Luo Xuan jumped in to protect him. Poking the boy's forehead, his friend suggests the attack was actually Luo Xuan's fault. But the Ming insists the artist is just a normal human. Suspicious, the black-haired boy asks if Luo Xuan was attacked before they met. Overwhelmed by the questions, Chibi the Ming starts shivering nervously. Angry and protective, the black-haired boy orders the Ming to stay away from Luo Xuan. Back at his desk, Luo Xuan thinks about the day's events, deeply concerned. Thinking about their future, Luo Xuan ponders the biology of a human-mermaid hybrid. Luo Xuan leans on his desk, concluding that the Ming is, after all, a mermaid. Thinking of his friend, Chibi Luo Xuan reminds himself that the Ming is a boy. Completely exhausted, Chibi Luo Xuan collapses right onto his desk to get some rest. Looking at his phone, Luo Xuan has a thoughtful and somber expression. Meeting up in public, the Ming waves like crazy at Luo Xuan to get his attention. Luo Xuan is a bit surprised the Ming suddenly wants to go to class with him. Chibi the Ming suits up like a secret agent, ready to protect his human. He imagines himself as a hero, standing triumphantly over a captured, tied-up baddie. Luo Xuan, touched, holds the little Chibi, who thinks he's just the best. Sparkles surround the Ming as they walk together, enjoying their school time. Blushing like crazy, the Ming feels the warmth from Luo Xuan's protective arm around him. Walking right next to each other, the two head towards the school. In the morning sun, the two Chibis walk along, their connection growing with each step. A woman with a bun watches the two from a distance with quiet curiosity. Inside the classroom, the Ming has already fallen asleep while Luo Chuan watches over him, concerned. GB Luo Chuan wonders why his mermaid pal is suddenly so interested in school. Luo Chuan's expression softens as he watches the sleeping boy's peaceful face. The Ming whimpers in his sleep, trapped in a nightmare about some mysterious person. Still dreaming, the boy begs the unseen attacker not to hit them. Hearing the soft mumbling, Luo Chuan clenches his fist, full of silent frustration and worry. Comforting him gently, Luo Chuan realizes he's traumatized by last night's ambush. Patting his head, Luo Chuan feels incredibly sorry for the vulnerable mermaid. Looking at the cement block, Luo Chuan realizes their unknown enemy is insanely strong. He thinks their attacker is another powerful merman, definitely not human. Jolted awake, Shibi the Ming reacts in total shock as a hand grabs him in the quiet classroom. Luo Chuan carefully rouses his drowsy mermaid pal, Chibi Ye Ming. Sorry for being clumsy as he checks his own hand. After class, they talk about a quiet afternoon. Ye Ming watches Luo Chuan, his gaze completely fixed. He's lost in the artist's warm, gentle face. A soft, happy smile appears as they walk side by side. The moment blurs into a soft glow as time quietly passes by, hidden from everyone's view. The woman with her hair in a bun watches them go, intrigued. Gripping a wooden stick, she gets ready for a fight. On the deck, Luo Chuan hands out wages to the hard-working crew, all dressed in elegant lavender uniforms. Ye Ming runs to Luo Chuan, practically sparkling with anticipation. The little chibi holds out his pouch for a reward, but his face falls when he sees that it's still totally empty. The crew chats about eating well this year as figures move across the deck. Chibi Ye Ming just stares, trying to grasp the idea of work and money. Standing by the rail, Ye Ming offers Luo Chuan some candy. Luo Chuan, holding a small tree, asks the boy what's wrong. Ye Ming sighs that everyone has money while he's totally broke. With a smile, Luo Chuan reminds him he hasn't actually done any work. The tiny merman, Ye Ming, lazily sunbathes, dreaming of a life of ease. Holding his utensils, the hungry chibi knows he has no cash for food. Luo Chuan watches as Chibi Ye Ming gets a harsh dose of human economics. Dejected and sad, the little mermaid boy turns away with a quiet pout. Luo Chuan offers a simple job serving tea to help the little guy earn some cash. Thrilled by the promise of money, Ye Ming happily accepts a pat on the head. A quick, sharp knock on the door echoes as someone waits outside. Ye Ming stuns Luo Chuan by showing up in a frilly outfit. A black and white maid uniform. Chibi Ye Ming flashes a confident thumbs up, proud of his look. Luo Chuan thinks the service is impressive. Ye Ming presents a tray with a cup of coffee. Closing his eyes, the artist gets ready to enjoy the drink, but is shocked by how cold it is. Luo Chuan sees the coffee is just pure ice. Despite this chilly surprise, Luo Chuan stays cool while Ye Ming waits excitedly. A sudden wince of pain rings out as Luo Chuan suffers a clumsy service mistake. Realizing the tea idea is a total bust, Luo Chuan suggests the boy clean the room instead. Dressed like a maid, Chibi Ye Ming happily dances with a duster. A loud crash sounds when a priceless antique plate smashes on the floor. Luo Chuan stares, shocked, at the burnt, inedible meal Ye Ming tried to make. Drowning in the chaos, Luo Chuan wonders if there is anything Ye Ming can actually do right. Ye Ming gives a bright, okay sign. Totally sure of himself despite all his mess-ups. Luo Chuan explains the broken plate just put Ye Ming deeper in debt. Chibi Ye Ming chases Luo Chuan, yelling that he was tricked about how work works. Relaxing later that night, Luo Chuan invites the tired boy to watch fireworks. Ye Ming peeks out from a blanket, with a curious and slightly confused expression. A chibi Luo Chuan with wolf ears is baffled by a sudden alert on his phone. A shiny red digital envelope pops up on screen, a little gift from Luo Chuan. Overcome with pure joy, Ye Ming leaps into Luo Chuan's arms for a big hug. In an adorable chibi embrace, The two friends celebrate their growing affection for each other, blushing like crazy. Ye Ming wonders how long it'll take to pay back this new debt. A soft, romantic laugh is heard as they share a warm and tender hug. Luo Xuan and Ye Ming fall together into a field of white flowers. Luo Xuan ends up on top of Ye Ming among the daisies. Looking down at the boy, his face softens with a little blush. Some festive chibis wish everyone a happy new year. The story moves on as they run into a woman with a bun. Luo Xuan asks about her recovery from the hospital. The woman with the bun watches Ye Ming with a curious, unwavering stare. She presents a rose bouquet, offering the flowers as a genuine gift. Luo Xuan takes them as the woman thanks him for his help. Blushing, she then asks if they can try dating sometime. Jibi Ye Ming is hit with pure shock and anger at her sudden confession. Burning with jealousy, he stomps off, demanding to be alone. Luo Xuan says Ye Ming has to pay for being so destructive. Heartbroken, the woman takes back her confession and runs away in tears, clutching her flowers. Luo Xuan is left thinking about that awkward moment. He silently watches as the woman with the bun leaves. Pouting, Chibi Ye Ming listens to Luo Xuan praise her good character. Luo Xuan gently turned her down, hoping she finds someone to cherish her as he watches her go. The two of them reflect on what a shame the whole thing was. Chibi Ye Ming is surprised by Luo Xuan's relaxed, friendly attitude. A sad memory shows a woman accusing a man of lying about love. The harp strings suddenly snap, a sign of a love story with no happy ending. Touching the broken harp, Ye Ming sadly says that all the strings are gone. While eating some ice cream, the two friends walk together through the city. Ye Ming licks his cone while thinking about his own confusing feelings. Lu Xuan quietly eats a chocolate bar, listening closely to what his friend is thinking. In a chibi outburst, Ye Ming shouts that mermaids just don't deserve to be loved. Luo Xuan thinks about how hard it is to like someone who doesn't feel the same way. Ye Ming just smiles brightly, declaring he loves himself just fine. Before Luo Xuan can react, he admits he's never really liked anyone before. Ye Ming asks about the woman, and Luo Xuan fills him in on their short history. Chibi Ye Ming is horrified to hear that woman has been to Luo Xuan's house. Luo Xuan quickly clarifies his family home is always full of kids. Fueled by a new sense of purpose, Chibi Ye Ming announces he's ready to go. Chibi Luo Xuan wonders if the cat is so jumpy because it's afraid of Ye Ming. Wearing cat paw gloves, Chibi Ye Ming reacts with huge, shocked eyes. Luo Xuan and Ye Ming admire the cute cats under the stairs. So it turns out Luo Xuan's family owns the animal hospital? Little the Ming's eyes literally sparkle as he immediately asks what snacks they have. His hand darts out, grabbing a bag of colorful cat treats. But Luo Xuan has to gently explain. That's pet food. The look on the Ming's face? Priceless. Seeing that the Ming is genuinely hungry, Luo Xuan just decides to let him get the treats. And the Ming takes this mission very seriously, intensely focused on picking out the perfect bag. Luo Xuan can't help feeling like he's taking a human-shaped pet on a shopping trip. Then the Ming tries to scan himself at the counter to pay. Oh, honey. Luo Xuan just looks at the little mermaid boy with the warmest, most affectionate smile. This kid's antics are just too adorable. The chibi cashier even gives the Ming a small extra gift. The Ming holds the little toy, his eyes shimmering with a soft, sweet surprise. With a totally happy expression, the Ming gets ready to leave the store. And who do they run into? That woman from before who just finished a vet visit for her cat, Agra. The woman with the bun smiles warmly, genuinely surprised to see them there again. Little the Ming, on the other hand, just looks completely stunned, while Luo Xuan and the woman are discussing the cat's recovery. Chibi, the Ming, is totally fixated on the tiny cat resting quietly inside of its carrier. Luo Xuan agrees to the woman's suggestion, all while a member of the medical staff watches them from the stairs. So they're sitting together on a couch, and the silence is super awkward. Then the woman smiles, saying it's obvious to absolutely everyone how the Ming feels about Luo Xuan. The Ming listens, completely focused. as she casually mentions that they haven't made it official yet. He's totally confused. How on earth could she possibly know their relationship status? Outwardly, the Ming is stoic, but his fuming chibi self shows his internal panic. She just brushes off his confusion, playfully claiming that her woman's intuition is never, ever wrong. She then explains that her earlier confession was actually just a little test to see how he'd react. The two of them sit there in the waiting room, just processing this heavy conversation. A close-up shot shows the Ming's wide eyes as he thinks about her crazy insight. He's so shocked into silence, the boy can only stammer out a short, simple response. He wrings his hands together, feeling a sudden rush of nervous energy. The chibi woman then reassures the little chibi boy that her predictions are almost always right. Blushing bright red, the Ming realizes that maybe, just maybe, Luo Chuan might actually like him back. We see our merman relaxing in a bath later, checking his phone for news on an upcoming show. His little chibi version is just beaming with pure joy. He's just so happy that his friend didn't reject him. Resting by the tub, the sleepy chibi remembers a sweet promise that was made before. Happy little sparkles surround the chibi merman as he enjoys a peaceful soak. Meanwhile, Luo Xuan thinks about what reward would be perfect for a mermaid. He's scrolling through his phone, totally focused on the screen. The Ming just feels this powerful connection to his friend, who is splashing around nearby. The excited chibi is celebrating the fact that he wasn't rejected. And then a complete disaster strikes as the Ming's phone slips and falls right into the water. A soft plop echoes as the phone sinks down to the bottom of the bathtub. Immediately, the little chibi's eyes fill up with big tears. He realizes he can't even reply to his messages now. As a quiet night settles in, the narrator notes just how hard mermaid scales actually are. We see steady hands carefully push a needle through a beautiful, shimmering blue scale. Luo Chuan works away, completely certain the Ming doesn't know about his secret. A pensive, wolf-eared chibi Luo Chuan lets out a heavy sigh, weighed down by the impact of the mermaid boy's words. The artist asks himself why he ever let his guard down and got so close. A beautiful, ethereal image of the Ming flashes through his memory. He's debating whether to protect this unknown creature or report him. Suddenly, success. Chibi the Ming cheers, having finally managed to thread his needle. Little the Ming walks right up to the dark-haired Aji and asks if he can borrow a phone. Aji hands it over, but not before scolding the boy for breaking yet another phone in the tub. Luo Chuan answers the call, hearing all about the Ming's little accident. Luo Chuan just laughs it off, promising to take him shopping for a new one when they're both free. He then tells the Ming to go find their awesome seats for the upcoming school event. A curious chibi the Ming peeks through the door, his eyes wide. A sharp click-clack of dress shoes echoes on the way to the university performance. A stylish man with braided hair asks his companion if he's enjoying the show. Looking completely over it, the chibi man thinks this whole event is incredibly lame. Luo Chuan spots some familiar faces in the audience and asks for a bit more space. On stage, the music swells as talented violinists begin their grand performance. And there taking center stage is the Ming, his fingers dancing gracefully across the strings of a huge harp. He's searching the massive crowd, worried that Luo Chuan won't be able to see him. Meanwhile, Luo Chuan watches with so much pride as people thank him for the front row seats. Flattered by all the praise, a chibi the Ming with puppy ears is just glowing with pride. The narrator points out that with the stage so close, and that giant harp, he's kind of hard to miss. The excited chibis wait for the show, their eyes just sparkling with excitement. Sitting in the darkened venue, Luo Chuan talks about the upcoming performance with all his friends. His little wolf-eared chibi friends are all looking at their programs and discussing the evening's drama. Luo Chuan admits he hasn't seen the rehearsal and is really pumped for the show. But Aji gives a serious warning. Humans can't withstand the true power of a mermaid's song. Chibi Luo Xuan says his goodbyes as his friend leaves to go find a seat. Walking down the dim hall, the two new friends agree the real show is just about to begin. A figure in a flowing white gown walks elegantly across the polished stage. As Chibi the Ming gets a little bit of help, Ye Ming adjusts a golden tiara in his lavender hair. Dressed like a Greek god, he takes a moment to admire his stunning reflection in the mirror. Looking at himself, he really hopes this is enough to finally get Luo Chuan's attention. He's so beautiful it's making his own heart race. And just like that, Chibi Ye Ming is blushing, surrounded by floating hearts. A little splash sounds as his merman tail wiggles excitedly under his gown. Meanwhile, a Chibi Luo Chuan, complete with puppy ears, watches with a totally baffled expression. He's wondering, is this performer a foreigner or something? He then excuses himself to go to the bathroom, and his little puppy tail actually wags as he heads toward the exit. But as he takes one last look at the stage ... a soft, warm smile spreads across his face. Two hosts in red dresses are introducing the next performance by a huge draped harp. The Chibi audience is completely mesmerized. Everyone's whispering about how unbelievably pretty Ye Ming is up there. And from the side, with his golden wreath, he looks absolutely ethereal. Luo Chuan just stares, amazed at this new, impressive side of Ye Ming. On stage, our boy is just radiating happiness, his smile shining under the spotlight. Soft pink roses seem to frame the air as the mood gets charged with pure magic. Luo Chuan is watching the show with laser focus. He's completely captivated by the boy's every move. Blushing, Ye Ming touches his own face, feeling the weight of the entire room's attention. A little chibi version of him is just overwhelmed with shy energy. And that radiant smile? It hits Luo Chuan hard. He wonders if he's ever seen it before. Totally lost in thought, Luo Chuan keeps watching the stage. The classic ... of confusion appearing right over his head. Luo Chuan tells his friend with the braids to stay put while he heads out. The door clicks shut, leaving him all alone in the dark hallway. Aji stays silent, deep in thought. Then suddenly a heavy thud. The stage lights flicker and die during the setup. The crowd gets nervous in the sudden darkness, wondering if this glitch is part of the show. But Ye Ming knows. This blackout was definitely not part of the plan. The shimmering fabric of his white gown is the only thing catching the faint light. Girls in the crowd are whispering nervously, hoping someone fixes the power. Meanwhile, Luo Chuan is already using his phone's flashlight to search the dark theater. The Chibi boys tell Luo Chuan they're fine as he warns them to stay still. But his concern is growing. He can't see what's happening to Ye Ming on stage. The noise and confusion is starting to get on Ye Ming's nerves. So, to quiet everyone down, he begins playing a beautiful, otherworldly melody on the harp. Aji listens as the audience recognizes the haunting, unfamiliar song. And then, glowing blue fish start swimming right through the air. The dreamlike vision leaves everyone totally silent. The music pulls them into a deep, underwater trance, like they're slowly sinking. A strange dizziness washes over everyone as the siren's song lulls them toward sleep. Ye Ming himself sits perfectly motionless. His music is weaving a spell, one that feels like it could last forever. In the quiet, Luo Chuan finally gets it, the terrifying magic of a merman's song. Then the spell breaks. Ye Ming cheers, so happy his magic worked. He immediately asks for feedback on his performance. But Luo Chuan is just quiet, still processing the whole haunting experience. He quickly apologizes for being so out of it. He blames his dizziness on the auditorium being too stuffy. Walking outside together, the two start talking about that mysterious power outage. They playfully gossip about whatever unqualified person must have caused the whole theater to go dark during the show. A little chibi Ye Ming watches Luo Chuan with intense curiosity as they keep talking. The real Ye Ming blushes, covering his mouth. All the while, the dark-haired Aji watches him silently. Looking serious, he warns that Ye Ming's show is going to make the other students super jealous. The lavender-haired boy just replies that for a pet, he sure talks a lot. We then see the two chibis sharing a sweet moment under a shower of blue petals. Walking into the night, Ye Ming leans on his friend's shoulder, raising his hand high in the air. Then cut to Chibi Ye Ming's eyes, sparkling with absolute delight, surrounded by delicious-looking sushi. Ye Ming confirms the food is amazing, his face just glowing with happiness. With literal stars in his eyes, the tiny chibi merman gets ready to eat. Luo Chuan just watches the boy with a warm, gentle smile. He's just enjoying their quiet dinner date. Then Ye Ming reaches out, gently touching Luo Chuan's forehead to check if he has a fever. A concerned chibi Ye Ming fusses over the smiling Luo Chuan, trying to make sure he feels okay. And that's when Luo Chuan asks about the song, the one Ye Ming played when the theater lights went out. Sweating nervously, Ye Ming just laughs it off, saying it's an old family melody. Luo Chuan is clearly suspicious of that excuse. He can still feel the lingering effects of the music. So Ye Ming just focuses on his food. He's trying his best to ignore the awkward tension from their shared secret. Of course, the chibi merman is just happily chewing away. A flowery background appears. Triumphant and full, the chibi boy cheers, having finished his meal. Standing up from the table, Ye Ming gets ready to leave after their long and crazy evening. Then a sudden rustle. Luo Chuan stands up, but his movements look slow and strained. A close-up shows Luo Chuan's eyes are totally glazed over as a massive wave of dizziness hits him. Ye Ming is already at the exit. He's completely unaware until a sudden, heavy thud echoes behind him. Panic hits. Luo Chuan has collapsed. Ye Ming screams his name, desperately telling him to wake up. He just stares in horror, his face pale with shock and worry. Tears stream down the chibi merman's face as he desperately hugs Luo Chuan, fearing the absolute worst. Night falls on the quiet room model. Under the soft moonlight, Ye Ming carefully places the unconscious Lichuan onto the bed to rest. He watches his friend sleep, his mind racing with worry over why he suddenly passed out. The tiny merman is completely baffled, trying to figure out why his song hit Lichuan so hard. Sweat beads on Lichuan's face as he tosses and turns in a restless, feverish sleep. And I pee? A sharp tear sounds out as Ye Ming inspects the sweat-drenched, damaged shirt. Suddenly, beautiful wisteria flowers bloom around the sleeping boy, creating a peaceful, dreamlike scene. But the sight of Lichuan's bare chest, it completely overwhelms the tiny merman with a wave of shyness. Totally fascinated, a group of Shibi Yemings admire Lichuan's abs with huge, sparkling blue eyes. A flustered, breathless mess, Ye Ming tries desperately to keep his cool while near his shirtless friend. Thump! A loud thud echoes as the embarrassed little guy buries his face directly in his hands. Ye Ming leans over Lichuan, his heart pounding as he finally processes these deep, growing feelings. Closing his eyes, he starts to lean in, drawn toward his companion in the quiet of the night. The shyness is just too much. The little merman hides his face again, trying to hide that massive blush. But he can't resist. Peeking through his fingers, Ye Ming just has to steal another look. Cute little hearts float through the air as the chibi imagines them sharing another sweet kiss. Ye Ming softly whispers Lichuan's name, his eyes full of so much tenderness and affection. Then confused chibis and question marks pop up, perfectly showing Ye Ming's internal chaos right now. But then Lichuan calls out for Ye Ming, his voice echoing through the sea of floating chibis. Completely exhausted, the pink-haired boy just listens as the chibis demand a giant fish feast. Finally relaxing, Lichuan offers a faint, tired smile watching the little guy's antics as hearts bloom everywhere. Lichuan can't help but laugh, sharing a truly joyful moment with his favorite little merman. Lichuan just sits there peacefully while a whole crew of chibi Yemings devours a sushi feast around him. But wait, one of the tiny Yemings stares forward with this incredibly intense and determined look. Full of confidence, this chibi Yeming boldly declares that he wants to date the smiling boy. And Lichuan's reaction? He just bursts out laughing, totally unbothered by the bold confession. All the other chibi Yemings hang their heads, looking completely crushed by the rejection. But the main chibi is just offended. How could a mere human possibly dare to reject HIM? Ye Ming seriously considers just dragging his human back to the sea to claim him for good. We see a quick, dreamlike vision of Merman Ye Ming wrapping his strong blue tail around Lichuan. A sharp gasp cuts the silence. Lichuan jolts awake, absolutely drenched in a cold sweat. Still half asleep, the shirtless Lichuan rubs his eyes, tangled up in some cute puppy print sheets. Chibi Lichuan pops up, wondering what was up with all those weird dreams and intense sweating. Surrounded by a cloud of floating question marks, the confused little guy tries to make sense of it all. Wrapped up like a burrito in his blanket, Lichuan stands hesitantly in his bedroom doorway. A chibi Ye Ming cheers, happy to see him awake, and points out how dizzy he was yesterday. Lichuan gives a warm, grateful smile, thanking his friend for getting him home safely. Then a close-up reveals a suspicious faint red mark right on the boy's pale neck. Lichuan mentions that his head feels way heavier than it did the night before. He looks at his friend with such kindness, his smile still full of soft, gentle affection. The chibi Ye Ming, though, is just standing there dazed, silently clutching a green shirt. They end up back to back, Lichuan in his blanket and the little guy sharing a quiet, awkward moment. Ye Ming keeps looking down at the green shirt, a troubled and deeply uncertain look on his face. Breaking the silence, Lichuan asks his friend to help him find a set of clothes to wear. With a soft rustle, Ye Ming holds up a green shirt with a palm tree pattern on it. Lichuan stares intently right through the shirt's opening, his expression focused and impossible to read. Realization strikes. Lu Zhaoxuan sees he was the one who was played, and he stubbornly crosses his arms. ... So he's not about to help his friend right now. Overcome with embarrassment, the Ming covers his mouth, blushing fiercely. Chibi the Ming is not having it, turning away with a defiant blush. And here comes his tiny angel merman self. Observing that rejection is clearly the worst feeling ever. A hand on a thigh. Plop. A single tear falls. Now they're streaming down the Ming's face. He struggles to hide his intense inner turmoil. Chibi the Ming's eyes widen in shock as the realization finally dawns. A tiny devil merman watches the heartbroken boy sob uncontrollably. Looking down, the Ming is absolutely defeated. He blames himself for their relationship getting so complicated. Chibi Angel the Ming now feels guilty. Was he being too much of a bully? A flashback shows Merman the Ming finding a human manga book near the shore. The comic showed a romantic scene at sunset, and the curious young merman was absolutely fascinated. His face just glows with this newfound sense of wonder. The Ming chats about the weird human one and only idea with another merman. The Ming stares into the deep blue ocean, filled with a secret wish. He remembers Luo Chuan's kindness, ... and how close they were getting, all swirling in his head. Back in the present, Luo Chuan gently asks him to stop crying. A soft, sad little wail escapes as the emotional the Ming just keeps weeping. Luo Chuan kneels down in front of his friend, just offering a calm presence while he grieves. Then a firm click sounds as Luo Chuan leaves to give him some space. Did his crying finally annoy his patient, sweet friend? Now all alone, the little chibi boy dries his eyes, trying to pull himself together. Luo Chuan comes back, taking the Ming's hand to comfort him. The Ming stares at the purple handkerchief being offered to him, his eyes still shimmering with tears. While he dries his face, Luo Chuan smiles softly, suggesting they can talk after he's cleaned himself up. A big, sleepy yawn sounds as the worn-out chibi boy clutches the handkerchief. Feeling totally spent, the Ming can barely keep his heavy eyes open now. Luo Chuan points out that his friend is exhausted from not sleeping enough, but with determination, Chibi the Ming insists that Luo Chuan should be the one to get a checkup. Luo Chuan watches him, his eyes soft with affection, touched by his concern. A warm, gentle glow surrounds Luo Chuan while he smiles at his favorite merman. He adjusts his big, baggy blue pajamas, while standing near a wall of roses, looking a little shy. The chibi boy waits for his answer with wide, hopeful blue eyes. Luo Xuan starts playfully poking the tiny Ye Ming, who just looks back with pure, wide-eyed surprise. A quick, soft rustling sound is heard as Luo Xuan pulls up the blankets for him. Tucked into bed, Ye Ming looks at Luo Xuan, totally calm and peaceful. Surrounded by little pink hearts, the chibi boy lets out a giggle of pure, simple joy. While snuggling, chibi Ye Ming peeks from the covers, his inner angel and devil arguing about what to do next. Ye Ming laughs, picturing a future confession surrounded by gorgeous flowers. Worn out from all the drama, a tiny devil merman naps on the bed. Luo Xuan stands alone in the hall, breathing out a long, heavy sigh. Blushing like crazy, Luo Xuan leans on the wall, admitting he's starting to fall for him. Chibi Ye Ming spots some flowers for sale, and his eyes light up with a fantastic idea. A flower stall is on full display with buckets of colorful tulips for everyone. Chibi Ye Ming thinks about using roses for his confession. He finds them so beautiful. Then a sudden sharp thud sounds, as Ye Ming runs right into a stranger with dark hair. Startled by the impact, the chibi boy looks up at the man he hit. The dark-haired man, Aji, just looks away with this incredibly sad and broken expression on his face. Ye Ming watches Aji walk off, feeling a weird kind of connection. A long, tired groan is heard as the chibi boy flops onto the bed. Aji sits by himself on a tennis court bench, looking utterly heartbroken and alone. Luo Xuan looks up while Aji just stares away, looking completely dejected. Ye Ming, in a green hoodie, seems really bothered by what just happened. Luo Xuan is panicking about his mom finding out he dyed his hair pink. We get a funny memory of his mom shaving his head, which made him cry his eyes out. Chibi Luo Xuan wails while a purple-haired boy just looks annoyed. Ye Ming confronts both of them at the court. Aji is blaming himself for taking his sister to the beach when he wasn't supposed to, and his deep feelings of guilt. A tennis racket is on a bench as Ye Ming says he doesn't have any dreams. Surrounded by little crabs, Chibi Ye Ming stares ahead with big, worried eyes. Chibi Aji screams Ye Ming's name while Luo Xuan starts sweating bullets. Aji looks over at Luo Xuan, thinking his friend still has no idea about the whole truth. A close-up shot shows Luo Xuan's focused and slightly sad expression. Ye Ming watches his friend as Luo Xuan brings up what other people said. The chibi gray-haired boy asks if Ye Ming was the person who performed. The boy sits nearby while Luo Xuan is in the room. A quick thud sounds as he puts his soda can down. Luo Xuan asks what his gray-haired friend is up to as they chat. The boy then realizes that Ye Ming is in some serious trouble right now. At a cute cafe, Luo Xuan gives his friend a worried look. "You doing okay?" A subtle swish sound follows as he waves for service. The camera zooms in on Ye Ming, looking totally heartbroken and zoned out. He can't even make eye contact, clearly wrestling with something deep inside. A soft pat on the back. Luo Xuan reaches out, trying to soothe his buddy. He offers a gentle, reassuring gaze, trying his best to help. Ye Ming finally meets his gaze, his blue eyes soft with feeling. Turns out, the school is pressuring him to turn in a piece of music. Glancing at his cup, Ye Ming looks completely crushed by the school's demand. Luo Xuan rests his chin on his hand, already deep in thought. "You have to turn it in," Luo Xuan insists, his face serious. "It's the only way to shut down all these rumors flying around." "I can't," Ye Ming says, leaving Luo Xuan baffled. Then, chibi style, he declares he'd rather just stop being human. What a solution! Chibi Luo Xuan is absolutely floored by that wild statement. A soft rustle. He puts a hand on his friend like, "Are you serious?" Luo Xuan explains that merman stuff showing up here would cause absolute chaos. A tiny, dejected Chibi Ye Ming just looks so defeated. Then Luo Xuan gets an idea. What if they just submitted a completely different music score? Just not the real one. Chibi Ye Ming's eyes light up. Even Luo Chuan cracks a small smile. And then Luo Chuan suddenly decides against it. Nope, that won't work, Luo Chuan says before just walking off. A baffled Chibi the Ming is left all alone at the table. Just then, a guy with gray hair walks up, all confident smiles. This jogs Chibi the Ming's memory of some foreigners at that last event. With a warm grin, the gray-haired boy offers to help them out. He leans right over their table, catching Luo Chuan and the Ming completely off guard. The Ming, clearly irritated, asks him why he's making such a nasty face. But the gray-haired guy just keeps talking, looming over them. Slap! A sudden sound. Chibi the Ming clamps a hand over his mouth. An angry Chibi then yells at the guy for being so out of line. The Ming isn't buying it. He gives his friend a look pure skepticism and frustration. He's clearly wondering what this guy's really after, watching him closely. Shen Yunlu just stands there totally silent. His calm eyes are locked on his friend during the pause. So Shen Yunlu offers a solution. He'll change the score himself. But a stubborn Chibi the Ming demands to know why the original needs changing at all. Shen Yunlu explains that without changes, its true origin could be dangerously revealed. And oh, the light bulb finally goes off for Chibi the Ming. A quiet moment of dawning realization hits him. Brimming with confidence, Shen Yunlu takes the lead, promising he can totally handle the job. A little spark. The Ming's eyes are glued to Shen Yunlu as he walks away. The shot holds on that moment, emphasizing his focus. As they're all getting ready to leave the cafe, Shen Yunlu flashes this little knowing smirk. Looks like the plan is going just how he wanted. Someone issues a stern warning. This modification has to work. Shen Yunlu then tells his friend not to push himself too hard on this. The Ming promises to wait right there for him. But oh my god, the pout! His cheeks are all puffed out, still totally annoyed. Honestly, he looks just like an angry little pufferfish. As they're leaving, Shen Yunlu's other friend starts grilling him with some questions about it. Who on earth managed to get him that worked up? He asks. Annoyed by the question, Chibi the Ming just yells back. It's nobody. Immediately regretting that, the Ming quietly apologizes for shouting. And just like that, he's overcome with a sudden wave of total shyness. Blushing, Chibi the Ming clutches his hands together nervously. Then the shock hits. Wait a second. He's been holding his friend's hand this whole time. A sharp gasp. The Ming yanks his hand back like he's been burned. And Shen Yunlu? Oh, he finds this absolutely hilarious. Trying to cover his growing smile, the tall boy gives the Ming a gentle head pat, letting out a warm, affectionate laugh. Shen Yunlu's whole expression softens, watching his flustered friend with such a tender look. But here's the thing, maybe he's not just kind, maybe he's pretty sly too. As they walk through the park, there's this quiet, lingering closeness between the two of them. The Ming can't meet his eyes. His face is a total mess of confusion and rising inner turmoil. Okay, new plan. Chibi the Ming decides he's just going to ignore his teasing friend. But he's still super flustered as the other boy watches him playfully. Click, clack, click. The sound of rapid typing. A man with long braids is zoned in at his desk, all business. In the quiet office, the man with braids keeps working away. A woman with pink hair pops by his desk and gets a quick, casual yep from him. BNG, the elevator doors slam shut down the hall. Meanwhile, some colleagues are gossiping about how Yo is always causing some kind of trouble. Now in Chibi form, the conversation continues. The woman's tone is just pure resignation, totally weary of the constant drama with this guy. We get a shot of bright blue flowers, signaling a scene change. And where are we now? Watching Shen Yunlu happily licking a 2-scoop ice cream cone. The braided man storms up to Shen Yunlu. And oh, he looks absolutely furious with his so-called friend. His expression is ice cold. He demands a real explanation right here and now for why he's been completely ghosting everyone. Shen Yunlu explains he just couldn't let that special score get into human hands. In response, the chibi braided man offers up a simple compromise. Just help him and get back to work, he insists. But Shen Yunlu looks totally defeated, admitting that his friend actually turned down his offer. Shen Yunlu explains he was called a complete fraud, and that's why he's so upset. The braided man listens to this, his expression becoming rock solid. Trying to make sense of this tangled mess, you can just feel the braided guy's irritation growing. This whole situation is completely out of hand. He glances to the side, clearly fighting to keep his cool through this entire ridiculous conversation. And there it is, that smug, wicked little grin. Oh yeah, the game is changing now. Our tiny braided dude gets that sinking feeling something is very wrong. Papers are everywhere as the team scrambles, desperate to come up with a brand new draft. Little Ye Ming presents the new sheet music, absolutely set on getting this last version right. Meanwhile, Luo Chuan just slumps by the piano. The endless cycle of music has little Shen Yunlu looking totally spaced out and woozy. My bad, I was too cocky, Shen Yunlu admits. With Ye Ming holding the music, our little guy feels a pang of guilt. Oh no, he's upset Luo Xuan again. Ye Ming knows he has to go find his friend right now. One hand reaches out, grabbing the other's wrist in a solid grip. And when Luo Chuan looks up, his face just melts as he sees who it is. And then ... what is this? Tiny white flowers start blooming on Luo Chuan's arm. Ye Ming's blue eyes are huge, totally captivated as this magic happens right before him. Holding hands, our tiny Luo Xuan and Ye Ming are just sparkling with pure joy. These two are sticking together, their faces lit up by this brand new bond between them. Look at that smile. A real, brilliant smile finally appears on Luo Chuan's face. His mood is lifting, and the camera lingers on his outfit in this soft, calm moment. Little Ye Ming's eyes go wide, his jaw drops. He just realized something huge. Then a strange voice calls out from somewhere nearby. Ye Ming, the calls are getting more desperate, and now they've got a megaphone, blasting his name for everyone to hear. There's the braided guy, megaphone in hand, yelling for Ye Ming with Shen Yunlu just watching. People are starting to stare, wondering what's going on. Maybe it's some kind of weird punishment game. Little Ye Ming and Luo Chuan are just watching the spectacle, completely baffled. A furious yell erupts, and this time they're screaming Shen Yunlu's name in total frustration. Oh, he is furious. Tiny Ye Ming flares up at his gray-haired buddy before hopping off in his little mermaid form, totally over all this ridiculous drama. Give it back. Little Ye Ming yells at Shen Yunlu, completely annoyed. But of course, the little troublemaker just laughs at him. He's totally messing with him, holding the prize just high enough. Our tiny mermaid Ye Ming leaps, trying to snatch back the megaphone from the braided guy. And Shen Yunlu is just cheering them on, making the little mermaid even more mad. That's when Luo Xuan steps in, takes the megaphone, and asks, "Is picking on people actually fun?" Shen Yunlu points out that his braided pal was beaten by mere humans. The man just watches with a sly grin. You know, Shen Yunlu adds, "We've met before." Little Ye Ming jumps in front of Luo Xuan, super protective. "Don't you dare touch him," he warns. Then a random tip about beach waves pops up. The group starts planning what to do next. Luo Xuan is deep in thought when Shen Yunlu turns to him, asking if he's got any bright ideas. "All right, it's go time." Tiny Ye Ming rolls up his sleeves, a serious look on his face. Shen Yunlu just tugs on his red scarf. That smile is just for show. He's hiding something. Luo Xuan senses trouble, asking if the possible reward is really worth all of this risk. Watching the defiant kid, the braided man notes, he's got some serious fire. Ye Ming's focus is razor sharp. That look on his face is all he's prepared for anything. Luo Chuan then scoops up the little mermaid boy amidst the complete and utter chaos. With a friendly smile, Shen Yunlu tells them to go on ahead. But Luo Xuan? He's not buying it. You can see the suspicion in his eyes. He still doesn't trust Shen Yunlu one bit. Shen Yunlu just jokes, "Are you a monster?" Amazed by his strength, the braided guy holds onto the squirming mermaid kid, asking, "Why are you so noisy?" Then we cut to the silent music room, bathed in the soft evening glow. His hands are tied with red fabric. The braided man insists on an explanation out loud. He glances aside, clearly conflicted and full of doubt. "Come on, let's wrap this up." Shen Yunlu pushes everyone. They've got to get back home to work. The braided guy clamps a hand over Ye Ming's mouth, silencing him and thinking, who is this kid? He's still muffling Ye Ming's shouts as the mood stays tense. Luo Xuan confronts the stranger, demanding to know his identity, and why he's so willing to go along with Shen Yunlu. Little Luo Xuan then offers, "I can translate what the angry mermaid is saying." Shen Yunlu tells his buddy that sticking with the braided guy is just asking to be lied to again. A sad, muffled noise escapes. While shutting the kid up, the braided man asks his friend how he can talk trash right after. "Getting some help." "What nerve!" Shen Yunlu shoots him an icy look. "Shouldn't you be thanking me for helping?" Then he turns away, lost in his own thoughts for a moment. He casually mentions having a weird urge to get a pet puppy all of a sudden, but internally, a dangerous glint flashes in the pink-haired guy's eyes. Shen Yunlu just comes right out and asks the braided man, "Can I have him?" The kid's eyes are locked on, that playful smirk hiding a very crafty little scheme. He doesn't back down. Shen Yunlu asks again, bold as ever, "So, can I have him?" A happy yell rings out, even as the braided man keeps Ye Ming's mouth covered. "Hey, I'm not a pet," Shen Yunlu insists. His pink-haired buddy is clearly irritated by all this, but Shen Yunlu tries to sell the idea, listing all the great perks of becoming his personal pet. Free food and a place to stay are on the table. We see tasty dishes floating by. Then Shen Yunlu gestures to someone else, suggesting he go ask Zhao Feng for proof. The braided man then adds that total obedience is completely non-negotiable. The Ming and Shen Yunlu are floored by the pet comparison. Shen Yunlu immediately shuts down the whole idea, asking why on earth he would want any of that. Promising a much more exciting time, Shen Yunlu leans right into his friend's space. They're frozen in this super tense, close moment, and the pink-haired boy just grins. Then a faint rustle breaks the silence. A hand slips, smooth as anything, right into the other guy's pocket. The look on his face? Pure shock. His phone is gone. Shen Yunlu just laughs, telling him to add him as a friend. Then with a quick wave and a casual goodbye, Shen Yunlu makes his exit. Totally frustrated, Shen Yunlu screams for his friend not to leave. A sudden panic in his voice. The Ming darts forward, his face a mask of pure distress. But then a hand shoots out, grabbing his wrist and stopping him cold. Fists clenched, the Ming snaps at the person to mind their own business. Shen Yunlu, however, just gently lifts his chin. The moment turns warm ... and shockingly intimate. That intense gaze hits Shen Yunlu, and the realization washes over him. Later, in a car, the topic turns to the Ming's constant search for loyalty. Shen Yunlu just scoffs, saying even dogs can't be trusted. The braided man looks away, saying nothing, his golden eyes filled with his own unspoken doubts. A soft, gentle patting sound is heard. As a chibi, Shen Yunlu sweetly strokes his pet's head. The scene cuts to a heavy silence, with the Ming just slumped on the floor. Looking at some sheet music, Shen Yunlu wonders what songs the Ming even listens to. In a quiet, somber scene, the Ming looks down, his face full of sadness. Shen Yunlu tells him it's okay to let it all out and just cry. Utterly heartbroken, the purple-haired boy sobs into his blankets. The weight of all that pain finally hits him. Shen Yunlu just watches him, his own expression complex and pained. A soft splash. The Ming is sitting stunned in a warm bath. We see a chibi mermaid, the Ming wailing, clinging desperately to Shen Yunlu's shirt. Blushing like crazy, the Ming dives under the covers, completely overwhelmed. Then a flash of pure joy as the purple-haired boy lights up. He's laughing with his arms wide open. The news is out. The school is finally punishing the people who spread those awful rumors. Achibi the Ming stands lost in thought outside a brightly lit store. Shen Yunlu has to ask why his friend still looks so miserable, even with the good news. Surrounded by teddy bears, Achibi the Ming hides his face. In reality, the Ming just stares blankly ahead. You can see the storm raging inside him. Shen Yunlu presses him, asking why on earth he doesn't just hate him. Standing face to face, Shen Yunlu knows it's time to figure out what this relationship is. A tired sigh escapes the Ming as he looks up, exhausted. The Ming frantically explains that nothing ever happened in that short relationship. Shen Yunlu listens intently to the frantic words. All of this happening right there in the convenience store. Shen Yunlu narrows his eyes, thinking this guy is seriously annoying. The Ming thinks back, wondering if things might be different if they just stayed friends. We get a bright, colorful flashback. He remembers how he and the merman just clicked instantly. The white-haired merman promises to always be there during a quiet, close moment. The memory hurts. Achibi the Ming notes that the merman broke that promise. A massive, glowing mermaid tail slashes through the water. Underwater, the Ming's face is a mask of deep sadness and regret. Back in the present day, the Ming clenches his fist tightly. His face is flushed with that lingering anger. The Ming decides he's going to confront his ex and scare off any new lovers. Shen Yunlu is completely stunned by this sudden, intense declaration. Meanwhile, Achibi the Ming is fuming, upset that he's still the bad guy. The Ming explains he left because he wanted zero contact with him. Hearing this, a small, relieved smile appears on Shen Yunlu's face. He's clearly relieved by the story. Achibi the Ming just cocks his head, wondering why his friend thinks this is so funny. But Shen Yunlu's smile is so warm and genuine, his eyes sparkling with pure joy. He thinks to himself just how lucky he was to have caught his little fish. Surrounded by hearts, Achibi the Ming declares their meeting was definitely fate. The Ming looks down, lost in thought, the quiet mood of the store settling around them. Shen Yunlu looks up with a bright, cheerful look as he talks to his friend. Achibi the Ming cheers him on, calling him the absolute greatest. Suddenly, a loud clatter. The Ming just launched himself at Shen Yunlu in a tackle hug. Then we see two other boys, one green-haired, the other with light brown hair. Chibi versions of them walk through a snowy scene, sharing a super joyful moment together. They're acting just like a couple of happy puppies. Walking through the city, the group thanks Li Xuan for his help, but he humbly denies it. As they continue walking, the Ming insists that his friend's support was the only reason he got through all that recent trouble. Achibi the Ming watches with sparkly eyes, completely overwhelmed by the cuteness. Then, with a quick goodbye wave, the Ming heads off to class while his chibi forms go wild celebrating. The light-haired friend smiles, noting how sweet Zhao Mingming is. The green-haired boy agrees completely as they watch him go. And Shen Yunlu? He's blushing just a little bit. He's just now realizing his friend is actually really charming. Of course, the others tease him about why he's never had a girlfriend. A comforting hand lands on Shen Yunlu's shoulder. His friends swear they've got his back, no matter what kind of crazy obstacles they have to face. Shen Yunlu looks genuinely touched by this sudden, heartfelt loyalty from his buddies. The chibi squad huddles up, whispering all the latest juicy gossip. But Shen Yunlu is quiet, his gaze distant, clearly wrapped up in his own troubles. The tiny friends nod together, promising it's all going to be fine. A fluffy white dog just sits there patiently while the green-haired boy watches on. The crew starts talking about a dog named Swafike waiting back home. A huge smile spreads across Shen Yunlu's face. He finally feels like he truly belongs. And we get a little close-up on the sparkly detail of Shen Yunlu's dark blue shirt. He stands outside a building as a voice announces their reservation's been made. Then we see Shen Yunlu standing with a brown-haired girl, and his appearance totally catches the Ming by surprise. A bunch of huge, muscular guys gather round, and the group is told not to scare off any students. Chun Yunlu wanders alone down a store aisle, deep in thought. They all discuss their science training, and the Ming can't help but admire the blonde kid Zhao He's raw power. A hand rests on a book as the Ming vows he'll train way harder in the future. Still shopping, the Ming doubles down on his goal to get stronger to never be that powerless again. Flashbacks of his past weakness are fueling this intense need to change everything. The sound of firm footsteps echoes, marching toward a new beginning. But the Ming stops dead in the aisle, his senses screaming that someone else is there. Right there in the convenience store, a jolt of shock hits the Ming as he spots a very, very familiar face further down. The Ming realizes the man with the braids is standing right behind him out of nowhere. The man looks down quietly, his golden eyes locking with the Ming's totally stunned. Wide-eyed gaze. Of course, the chibi versions pop up, commenting on this bizarre twist of fate. And then a hand reaches out, holding a small gift that's actually for the whole group. Shen Lufeng gives a sincere apology and a little ticket to try and make things right. The Ming is just frozen, trying to compute this act of kindness from the guy he used to fear. The camera zooms in on the ticket being held, a possible bridge for their seriously complicated relationship. Chibi the Ming awkwardly takes the gift, having no idea what to even call the braided guy. He's wondering if he should just use the casual name Chun Yunlu does. But the man introduces himself formally as Shen Lufeng, setting himself apart as his own person. Suddenly, everyone's freaking out. It's a ticket to a super rare exhibition that's nearly impossible to get. Later, sitting outside, the Ming notices that Shen Lufeng seems a lot kinder than his buddy. The little blue-haired chibi boy, however, is still skeptical, claiming he has no idea who this black-haired man is. Li Chuan starts questioning Shen Lufeng's true personality and the mystery behind his old power. The Ming confirms the guy's name, still thinking about that brief, strange meeting back in the store. That's when you hear a soft, fluttering sound. The exhibition ticket slips from his grasp and hits the ground. Li Chuan stares at the fallen ticket in absolute horror, asking if the guy is actually dead.